the barrier removal unit for Fuegoleon. I believe he's going to be pretty nice for global, since obviously the barrier meta is a thing, and if it's something that you're just annoyed about, then this Fuegoleon is going to be, well, a picture perfect character to counteract all of the barrier shenanigans that is going to be happening. So first things first, when it comes to the accessories, the way I tend to go about it is I tend to go with the main stat being crit rate. Crit damage, so that way with the accessories I can buff up the crit rate, of course, and then of course defense. Substats, realistically, it's going to be magic attack, crit rate, and crit damage is kind of what you're looking for. Again, for Fuegoleon, he's there to dispel barrier, but more importantly, while you're dispelling the barrier, get that damage off. If the burn is there, then of course that's going to help the damage output even more. So when it comes to the build for my boy Fuegoleon, realistically, you want to keep it with the attacking gold gear set. Again, regular gear set if you don't have the gold version. And then you can go with the typical route as I'm doing right here, right now, where obviously giving him that defense plus 2 sets of the gold set. And then I'm also making sure that there's a little bit of crit rate going on here, of course. So once again, running the double crit rate gear will give me a plus 5%, and then with the substats and the accessories, of course, it does help out with the crit damage side of things. So that's something you can do. I mean, again, obviously, again, with the last item, it's going to be more in line for the magic attack. You want to buff that up a little bit more. Of course, if I want to go down that speed route, then probably what I would do is I would probably take out the crit rate and put main stats crit rate on accessories, then put speed in rather than the crit rate. I think that's what I would do, because again, the key function for the Fuegoleon is going to be that barrier removal. Now, if this was a PvE, then I think what I would do is I'll remove the defense to then buff up my crit damage. I think that's what I would do when it comes to the PvE side of things. So PvE is just going to be stacking up full on damage, but when it comes to PvP, there's a lot you can play around with. So this is something that I personally run. If I need the speed, then I'll get rid of my crit rate gear set, so that way I'm keeping the defense, because at the end of the day I need him to be alive to remove those barriers on an AoE state. That's his key function. But when it comes to PvE, I'll do crit rate, attack, and crit damage. Just full on damage. So that is pretty much how that is going to be working. So when you're building for Fuegoleon, that's realistically how you're going to be using it. So when it comes to his skills, pretty much in the same department as Jack, where his skills just going to buff up his damage. So, and oh, I should mention that with the combination attack, with level 3 and level 5, it's a plus 10% increase. So rather it being 30%, you can make it go up to 50% increased damage if the enemy is taking DOT damage. But that's the combination, so I mean, you don't really need to concern yourself with that. It's more important to make sure that his ultimate and second skill, because those are going to be the most important skills for the character itself. Clearly, ultimate is what you want to prioritize. That way you can dispel the barrier, incapacitate, and get that plus 50% of attack and magic attack, of course. And yeah, so of course the ultimate is going to be your priority. And then of course after that you then want to focus on getting his second skill done up. So right now I've only just done his level 3 because, well, I just used him to dispel barrier when I needed to at the time. Not anymore. I don't use this for Fuegoleon anymore, of course, as time has gone on. But for global, ultimate is going to be a priority. Then you do the second skill, and then if you want to do the first skill, you can. Don't really need to. Same thing with the combination. Actually, now combination skill you don't really need to touch, to be honest. Realistically, if you do run for Fuegoleon and you're sick and tired of the barrier play, ultimate first, then second skill, and you're chilling. So when it comes to the talent tree, it is going to be the magic attack plus 7%, and then battle frenzy. That is going to be the two most important slots that I would say you could choose for. And then of course, you know, the boss one is right beside it, so it kind of makes perfect sense to get these two. I mean, you can always resort to going for crit damage and damage dealt if you are going to go down that crit route, so that's also an option. So you can play around. You've got your options on whichever you want to do, of course. So that's the attack side of things. And then of course with the defense, realistically it will just be keeping it as simple as endurance and increased defense, of course. Don't need that, max HP, you won't need that either. And then of course with the support side of things, in all honesty, I just typically go with the swiftness, so that way I've got that +1 on my SP, and then damage resistance just to keep them alive and keep on dispelling the barriers themselves. Grants debuff immunity with 1 turn. No, you don't need that. Okay, yeah. So pretty much, again, just going with the casual 2 slots with the support side of things. And then with the Greymore, again, it's the one, boys. This Greymore is so broken for burn mech characters. It is like, if you get this Greymore and you're able to dupe it out, which I'm not gonna say no, don't, because it's actually really good and it does have longevity. Because this Greymore would be so good for Charmy, so good for Magna, and extremely good for Mereoleona, of course. So like, this one skill page supports all burn meta characters. It's broken. And it's absolutely insane to what it actually applies. Like, for each burn, that's a 25% increased damage. And if you know how Fuegoleon kit works, his kit himself is also providing that boost on the burn for DOT, of course. So to have a Greymore to give an additional 25% per burn, literal nuking numbers are going to be achievable with burn meta characters of the 4 characters that I've just mentioned, and future burn meta characters. I should also mention that this can also work for other characters. Why did I not mention that? So like, if you've got, for example, I don't know, if you want to give it to Julius, then yeah, why not? Go ahead. Just make sure you've got a team that can apply burn and he'll get that plus 25%. So like, for all attackers, technically speaking, for all attackers, this Greymore is just broken. As long as burn is being applied in a consistent manner against the enemy, to whoever has this Greymore, they are going to be feeding off it and doing some crazy damage. But of course, characters that can apply burn themselves, they can benefit a little bit more easier because it's built into their kit. So of course, yeah, I just quickly wanted to get that out of the way and mention that, because bro, I'm going to tell you right now, when it comes to global, I am praying and I'm hoping that I get copies of Charlotte, her Greymore, but more importantly, Fuegoleon's Greymore. Yeah, we're going to pray, boys. Now, in the case of not getting it, realistically, you just want to apply the all attack. If anything, just stick on the Breath of Darkness. That's going to be your easiest choice if you're able to max it out. Once again, if you've got the Mysterious Ancient Book, get that 12%. You can resort to using Farnas, of course. I mean, with the kit build that I just spoke about, I mean, yeah, Lich's one is going to actually support it that little bit more, so that's not too bad. And then, of course, once again, when it comes to the SR side of things, Yuno's one's going to be pretty nice. Yeah, well, if you want to boost up the crit rate from the Sea Serpent and then buff up the crit damage on his gear set, then that's an option, you know. But realistically, I would say Yuno and or Gorsh's Greymore will be better. I mean, because of course it's going to be the ultimate and the second skill that is going to be dispelling barriers, and those are the key functions for Fuegoleon. So you can resort to using those as SRs, of course. I mean, again, you've got the Greymores from Leo and Fuegoleon that work off from HP, so if you want to go down that route, you can do so. If you've got dupes on these, then of course, if they do provide higher percentages, then again, that is going to be optional, but you can always go down the route of getting higher stats with more easier Greymores if that's where you're at with your account. So anyway, boys, that's all the Greymores that I really wanted to mention. Oh wait, yeah, Arthur's crit damage 10%. Oh, I forgot about that. I mean, yeah, I mean, if you've got a decent amount of dupes on this and you've stacked up on crit rate, this could be something. Actually, I forgot about this. Interesting. But yeah, more on the damage side of things is what you're looking for. Anyway, so that is Fuegoleon. Again, key function, that barrier dispel, which is going to be absolutely beautiful. I feel like a lot of people are going to make good use of that, so people might need to think twice about now. Well, Charlotte, I think the barrier play for global might dwindle. Will it dwindle down? It'll be interesting to know on what teams people run, because Fuegoleon is going to be countering the barrier meta, but there's a new meta on the horizon that is going to make your whole team tanky with the release of Charlotte, which of course I'll do a video after I've done all my build videos. So anyway, that's Fuegoleon in a nutshell. Good luck on your guys' build if you do build him. It's the Greymore, in my opinion, that's kind of eye-catchy, but the character himself is going to be extremely useful with the dispelling of barrier, and more importantly, just doing decent damage.